looks hazy to me, and I couldn't figure out why.
It does.
I
We don't
turned a
know.
brighter light on, but then it washed about my face.
Oops,
Mm.
So
now
anyway,
we're live, and welcome everyone to Social Cafe, and this is season 12. Week, because next week we'll be into the new year. Almost feels like I should be mournful that this is this is the last of 2023 and it's the last of season 12, and then we'll be going into season 13. So welcome Tom, welcome Gail, and we're talking about pondering and reflecting over 2023. Can you believe that I feel like we just entered into 2023 and now we're packaging it up and leaving it behind us. Thoughts?
in some respects, it's been a really long year.
Gail, do you feel the same?
Oh, my life is still unorganized because I had to move. I lost my lease. I had to move. And there's things that have to be done that I can't do. So they're out of my control and I just have to wait till they get done. And so I'm kind of disorganized still.
I
Looking
can
forward
see
to getting better.
you're feeling like you're getting more and more organized as time's going on.
Yeah, I mean, but like this week it's really cold, so I really wish my wood stove was installed. But I'm glad that it's sitting in the living room.
That gives you hope. Like,
Yeah, so I have a wood cook stove,
mm-hmm.
the amazing brand new wood cook stove, but it needs a chimney and doesn't have one installed yet. I have all the pieces. They haven't come and installed it yet.
I hope that's soon because I'm cold and this isn't a cold country. It's desert, so it gets cold at night compared to what it is during the day. But I can't imagine. You have snow, don't you, Gail?
Oh, some one year, last year or the year before, we had like a foot of snow, but some years we get snow if you happen to be outside when it was falling and you happen to see it, right? But if you weren't outside, you don't know it snowed. Um, so like that. But this whole week, it's going to be below freezing overnight, and
Okay.
so that makes it cold in here. I have two electric space heaters, both set on 85 right now to keep this room 70.
Wow. Okay.
But it doesn't always stay 70. Sometimes it stayed 70, so it's not that cold yet. But it'll drop to like 61 sometimes, which is way too cold for me. My hands get numb and I don't want to work. So I'm really looking forward to having, and it's not just a wood stove, it's a wood cook stove.
Ooh, that's nice. So it kind
Yeah.
of has multifunction.
Yeah, and it's the new kind that you can build a fire at night and it'll burn for 12 hours. So when you wake up, it's still warm.
Hmm. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the antique ones didn't do that. Their fires would burn out in 4 to 6 hours, and then you wake up, it's freezing, and you have to wait till you get the fire going to get warm again. This one, it'll stay warm, and it has a summer grate, so I can use it in.
Oh, that's handy. Yeah, I remember having to my in-laws, they would my husband and I would sleep. This was my previous husband. we'd sleep out in the living room and we were in charge of having to keep the cook stove going. So it was like getting up in the middle of the night. We had to keep the logs on the or what was that thing? Anyway, we had to keep stoking it and keep it going and so forth. So otherwise it would go out and it would be really, really cold in the whole house.
Yeah, see,
Somehow
we
that
don't.
was our job.
That's
What
what I'm
was that
saying.
thing?
That one because it has features like it makes hot water whenever you're using the stove. It makes hot.
That's handy. Well, Tom, you're in the is it the southwest part of Texas?
I am, and it is. I saw. I was checking. It's 49 here right now, and the mornings are in the mid to upper 30s, and the afternoons are in the mid 60s. So it's cool in the mornings, but it's fine in the afternoons.
So it's doable.
I chose to live here. People say, "Why'd you move down there so far?" It's like I've lived all over the country. I've shoveled a lot of snow. I've been through tornadoes. I've been through all kind of things. I choose to live here right now.
Well, it's nice that you can actually choose to live someplace. That's where I grew up in Minnesota, but it's beautiful when the snow comes down, but man, it's cold. Oh, I'm sure Gail will return to us. But yeah, I didn't. Fortunately, they didn't make me shovel it, but it was it was fun to play in when you're young, and you do just about anything, and you collect rocks, and you play with sticks, and you do all those sorts of things. But when you get older, it's just cold. But you're used to that in Colorado, right?
Well, yeah, I lived in Colorado for 20 years, not in a row, but 20 years total. And my favorite toy was my snowblower. And, I just get out there and run that thing. And I'd do the neighbors and neighbors' driveways. And, it was a toy. It was fun. And go out and play in the snow.
Yep, yep, I could see that. Well, okay,
So
reflecting on 2023, is there such a thing as over reflecting or over pondering?
I think anybody can get caught in a thought loop. It depends on what they are trying to accomplish through that. And it also depends on their mindset relative to thinking. I know that sounds kind of weird that you have to think about thinking, but you do. You have to think about how you're thinking of things and how you're approaching them. And even in the book, Sustained Leadership WBS, one of the last things I did before I went to print, I did a word search for the word fail or failure, because I had adjusted my own thinking to the point that I realized that it's not a failure until you give up.
Hmm.
Until then, it's something that didn't work. Like Edison, you're going to maybe find 10,000 things that don't work, but you're going to keep trying. And so you take that as a lesson. And so when I look back across a year or a 3-month period or whenever I'm doing an assessment, which I don't, and I don't recommend people wait until December 31st to do this assessment, because the new year, look, every day is a new day. And if it's
Mhm.
worth doing, it's worth doing now. So start now, whatever now happens to be. Just do that. So no, I don't think you can overthink it unless you're caught in that um, you're trying to read people's minds or read the future or look into your crystal ball, and there's nothing there. I assure you, there is no, you can't see anything. And yet people say, well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And oh, I'm so afraid this could happen or that. You're going to kill yourself with worry. It doesn't help your health, mental or physical, at all. And so, yeah, review the past and say, yeah, okay, I screwed that one up. And I could list a long list of those this year that I've screwed up. Some of them this month, but I'm going to have to stop being proud of having told those people off and eventually say that probably wasn't the best thing to do and adjust my behavior accordingly. But nonetheless, it's important, I believe, to reflect and then take the lessons that you can. And something I mentioned in the chat that I think is critically important to that entire process is that you can review the past and you can do it multiple times. It's like reading certain books. You can read them multiple times, and each time you read them, you get something new out of it. And I believe reviewing the past is very similar, because if you are not mentally capable of absorbing the lesson, in fact, you're too prideful to admit it is a lesson and you need to change and you just need to do something different, you're not ready for it. But a subsequent review of that same event, you'll say, now at my current maturity level, I look at that and think, yeah, I could have been well served by adjusting my behavior a little sooner than now. But is it an old Oriental saying about the best time to plant a tree is 40 years ago, and the second best time is today? And that's how I look at these
Hmm.
kind of things. Yeah, it may have been better for me if I did it 2 years, 10 years, 30 years ago. Then what is stopping me today? And it's the same kind of thinking, as I said, that I don't wait for a new year to start new thoughts and new practices. If I discover I need to do something, I need a new system, I need a new goal, I need whatever it is, the day I realize it is the day I need to put that in place.
I love that quote because I was thinking about how when I was a little kid, my boyfriend when I was 5 gave me a little tiny cup with this little tree I mean, well, it was this big, and it was from an orange seed, and I thought it was so cool that I'm sure that his mother had done it, but not that the 5-year-old, but whatever it was, and that it grew and it grew and it grew, and I mean, finally, my mother, she's better with plants. I'm not a plant person, I'm a computer person. I mean, whatever, but she planted it outside. It kept, I would keep checking on it whenever I'd visit home. I didn't take it with me because what are you going to do? Travel from place to place and figure out who I am as an adult, so forth and so on. But at some point I asked her, so, how's my orange tree doing? She goes, oh, it died. I don't know at what point it died, but I was thinking about what you said, with the 40 years ago. I thought, Mom, that tree is 30 years old. You're the one that knows how to take care of plants. Why can't you take care of it? But rather than sitting here blaming my mother, I love what you said, Tom, because the next best time is now. Don't worry about this tree that now is dead. You can't go re-salvage this 35-year-old tree. Start today with what you've got. I love that. I love it. It's an encouragement to not cry over spilt milk.
Yeah, history is funny that way. It will come back to haunt you if you let it, or it will come back to instruct you if you let it.
So that's an excellent way to put it. There was I don't know who I'd love to give credit. I don't know if it was oh my goodness. I'll have to look it up because I don't know who said it, and it was just recently, but I was listening to someone on YouTube and they just said, you know what? Perfectionism is an unrealistic goal, and stop trying to go for and I'm a perfectionist. I thought, you know what? That's what's really got me going in circles is I keep trying to hit that perfectionism. I'm not ever going to reach it. So why not just do the best I can today and move on to the next goal? And that was like a week ago I heard it, and I've been getting a lot done. Not trying to go for that perfectionism.
I've heard many people use the phrase "done is better than perfect." I know that Seth Godin talks a lot about that in his daily blogs about get it delivered, just ship it. But it's not right. It's not perfect, isn't it? No, ship it, put it out there, and then you've got the time to begin to improve it. And I can understand with certain things like software and those kind of things, but if it's a safety device, no, I kind of want that to be perfect before you ship. And so there's a scaling effect here in terms of whatever it is you're discussing. But as a general rule, yeah, done is better than perfect. And another way of saying that I've heard often is good enough usually is.
Those are excellent quotes. I need to make sure I put those in the show notes. What was it? I think it was Cindy Bedard. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Cindy's last name correctly, but I think she was saying, think of it in terms, we as entrepreneurs, it's like we can extend, hey, I'm going to take 2 days doing this project. I'm going to take 2 months doing this project. But she said, put it in the framework of what would you do in a job? Someone comes up to you and says, you have to get this done by the end of the day. You don't have a choice. You've got to get it done. And it's, to your point, Tom, where you said, what Seth Godin says as far as getting it. I'm quoting Seth Godin, but getting it done, getting it delivered. It's like, yeah, we don't, if we're doing a job that 9 to 5, we don't have an option. You've got to get it done. And I've been thinking that a lot more when I'm working on projects. You can't think in terms of you've got this unlimited amount of time to work on it to perfection. Work on it as if you've got to deliver it to somebody else now. And that's been helping. So yeah, even on reflecting over the last year, putting it in terms as far as a reflection. Yeah, okay, did some things right, did some things wrong. Now let's move forward. Gail, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, my internet went away. I reset the router and it came back.
Oh, good.
You probably can't adjust the echo cancellation at this point since we're recording.
I can't. Is it echoing?
Little bit, but it's probably manageable. Deborah is such a whiz with computers and all this stuff. She'll make it. In fact, she won't make it good enough. She'll make it perfect because that's her standard. It's one of the things I admit. I admire her for it, and it frustrates me to no end. But it's what she does, and she does it very well.
When I'm not talking or only when I am talking?
when you're not.
I could go mute, but my mute button sticks, so I may not get back, but I
That
I
may
have a
help from the
headset.
aspect.
Didn't you ask Santa Claus for a new computer?
No,
We should,
I'm gonna buy a couple more headsets though, because I need that. I bought a hard drive. I'm gonna load a fresh install of Linux on a brand new hard drive. I do that periodically, just chance I'll get a drive crash and lose everything.
that's a good policy.
Which is a good reminder that I tend to every quarter back up my machine on a series of hard drives for that very reason.
Definitely.
So a lot of
good
good
Series
things
policy.
to
hard
do with the new
drives.
year. That
What do you,
yes, portable
how
hard
many hard
drives.
drives would you need?
Some of them aren't that new, yeah, it's mainly it's for different things. You know, I've got one for just personal stuff and photos and those kind of things. I got one for work stuff. I've got the books and things I've written are isolated on one. You know, it's different ones for different purposes.
It's more for compartmentalizing, right? So you keep the stuff separate.
Well, actually, it's so that in my will I can leave each drive to a different person, and even in death, no one will really know me.
The mystery of Tom Reed. Oh, I don't know if that scares me or intrigues me. Well, it's a good policy you're backing up. There we go. That's good. That's
Well,
good.
and I'm just saying, people talk about goals and resolutions; those are things for the new year. What about? I know when we change the clocks, they say change the batteries in your smoke detectors. Or there are certain events that can be calendar timed, whether it's so many thousand miles on your car or so many months since you get the oil changed. There are things that we can set that way. And I'm a fan, and Scott Adams talks a lot about this, of setting up systems. In fact, he says no goals. He doesn't believe in goals at all. You set up systems that are designed to get you there. And you may call them habits, you might call them routines, there's any number of names you might apply to it, but it's the same concept, where you try to do the same thing every day as part of a system which pushes you in that direction. Like, some people get up, they get out of bed, they jump on the bike, and they do it before they're even awake. I do that and I fall off the bike. I can't do that kind of a system, but their system gets them on the bike every day. And for them, it's a good system. And that's why the thing, you have to kind of pick your own system of how you best function. If I can get up and make it to the kitchen to make coffee, I consider the morning a success, and then the rest of the day goes from there. Um, but yeah, I do encourage people to do systems. We call them habits. This time of year, we often call them traditions. My favorite quote about traditions is the young person who said, "We don't have any traditions in my family. We just do the same thing every year." But none, nonetheless, it's all your perception of how you look at those kinds of things. But you need them. You need something, and I don't care what you call them, but these kinds of systems, these traditions, these routines, these habits. Take your pick. They're important, and they can help you with your diet. They can help you with exercise. They can help you with getting work done. They can help you with writing goals. Whatever it is you're trying to achieve, whatever you're trying to do with your life, set up a system for it, and you'll find that you have much better success in reaching the goal you would set out for yourself.
Tom has me so motivated. I had these systems in place for 2023, and then I got waylaid on some stuff that happened in 2023. We'll not go there, but it's like now I feel like I have to catch up on the stuff I didn't get done because I got waylaid. And I'm thinking, you know what? Just leave that behind. Whatever didn't get done, you going back and going through checklists that you didn't get done on the 24th of August isn't going to mean that you got it done on 24th of August just because you're doing it on the 27th of December. Just move those checklists out of the way and start on the 28th of December moving forward and just get life done. And you know what? I'm trying to convince myself that I shouldn't be finishing all those checklists from August and September and October, November and December. I should just move forward starting today.
Well, you know me, I've got a system that I use every Sunday. I create a new to-do list for the week and I prioritize it. I go through the whole list, prioritize everything that needs to get done. And it's no secret there are some things that keep falling at the bottom of the list, keep falling, and they never get done. And eventually I take them off the list because if I can't find a reason for them to be above other tasks I've got to do, then they shouldn't be on the list at all. They're just clutter. Just get them out of the way and focus on the things that are mostly going to help you.
Do you think you should ever allow for almost a crash point? Like, for instance, okay, this is Deborah bearing all, if you will. I mean, not what that sounded like, but I'm doing this MyFitnessPal, and I log absolutely everything I eat, and I was doing it for like 500 days, so over a year, and I don't know what happened. I just got tired of being married to this log. It's like I didn't want to log the food, and I stopped for 2 weeks, and so now I'm like, oh, I got to go back and remember what I ate 3 weeks ago so I can log it, because I'm not honestly logging for 500 days and I can't remember what I ate 2 weeks ago. I'm thinking, it's okay to log every single day and allow yourself like 2 weeks every year to just not log it.
Jack and Susie Welch wrote a book. If I remember correctly, it's called 10-10-10. And I probably got the time frames, the units of measure out of whack. But the point of the book was to say, when you're trying to do something, think about 10-10-10. Is it going to matter in 10, was it minutes or weeks or 10 months or 10 years? And when you realize that so much of what is so important today really doesn't matter at all. People aren't going to remember it. That you're probably not going to put it to use. Yeah, if you can get it done, it'd be a nice thing to do. And if you enjoy it, then great. Everybody needs a little enjoyment. But in the grand scheme of things, does it all really matter? And nobody is going to come to you ever, I promise you, in your entire life and say, I want to see what you ate those 3 weeks. You have a gap in this and I want to see it. No one's ever going to do that.
I think my endocrinologist might, but she picks, it will not be that date. It'll be some other date. And it's like, it'll be the date that I actually didn't eat anything. And it's like, why is your blood sugar 300? And it says you didn't eat anything, because I really honestly didn't eat anything. Well, your blood sugar shouldn't be 300. It is. And I didn't eat anything. And that's the mystery of having the diabetes, That's actually why I logged it, was so I could tell her that. It's like, yes, it is really 300. And I really didn't eat anything for 12 hours. But yeah, she's unlikely to pick that particular date. And I can just make a note, not logged, not logged, not logged for 2 weeks. Don't ask, don't know.
My mother was a big fan of Weight Watchers many, many years ago. And they had that same process. She had a little 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with the whole week on it, and she had to write down everything she ate. And then they'd go Wednesday nights. I remember it was so regular. Wednesday night she'd go for her weigh-in, and the problem was that you turned in your log on Wednesday. So we used to call this Mom's Free Night, because we would always have ice cream or cake or something like that Wednesday night. There was no place to write it down, so it didn't count.
My big thing was I don't eat. So it's like Michael has access because it's online. He could actually check up, and it's like, is Deb eating? Is Deb eating? And I thought that the check-in point, because it logs, it's gamified. So it'll actually tell you how many days you logged in. I thought it was log in and actually put a food thing. So I used to log in and put that I drank tea, because, then I'm logging food. It's tea. I drank tea. All right. But it turns out all you have to do is log in. You don't have to log any food. So that's kind of how I got away with not logging any food. But so that was the idea, was that Michael could check in when he's out of town and see if his wife is actually eating. So, but now that I found out the program isn't checking up on me, my husband's not checking up on me, Deb can get away with just not eating. Oh, and no, Deb just said that live.
But Deb has someone that contacts her regularly with usually capital letters that says, and you know what I'm going to say,
Yes,
self-care first.
Yes, yes. Gail, do you have anything to add to that?
Oh no, not really. It's kind of wandering. Except it's really probably not good to not eat if you're diabetic.
That's probably true. I have a little device that goes off repeatedly and says low blood sugar, if I don't eat for an extended period of time.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you have to find something that you like to eat that's easy to have, right?
Yep,
So
peanut
that
butter.
you can eat. What is my dog doing? What are you doing, Pink? Stop that. She has
Well, Deborah,
she loves to tear paper up.
Mine does
like
that too. And
I order food online and it comes with this plain brown paper. And sometimes just little bits. So I don't know why she's like that.
she's a
she can
dog.
probably smell the food on it.
Yes.
No,
But
because it's like bottled stuff or canned stuff, or there's no food. It's not. It wasn't wrapped around food. Not that kind of food.
Tom, you're probably going to remind me of the time.
I was just going to say, I don't recall when we started, but I've enjoyed the conversation. And usually that's an indication that we've hit our limit.
Yep, we're closing up on the hour, but thank you so much. So much to think about, and I'm actually going to head over and not try to figure out. Oh no, I just said that, so that means I can't figure out what I ate 3 weeks ago. I'm going to try to start living from today.
Yeah, just ignore it. Forget what the past and move forward.
Sounds good. And Gail, tip talk tomorrow.
Yes, there is a tip talk tomorrow. If anybody comes, you're all welcome to come. Information is at blog.bizsugar.com/tip talk. And if you look at the Social Cafe Twitter chat, you'll see a tweet that has that link and information and stuff. So I wish some people would come. I really do. Come and attend.
I plan on it. So,
All right.
well, thank you, Gail. Thank you, Tom. And we'll see you same place next week, same time, Social Cafe Interactive. And thank you again for joining us. Adios.
Bye now.
Bye.